So hi geeks. So in this video we are going to learn how to create a reusable and flexible React Infinite scroll component. So like this, as you see in the scroll, we can scroll infinitely and we can render the cells. Just by changing some values, so we can render as many cells as we want in a row. This component which is reusable is a very flexible. So if I just change the values from 3 to 2 here, so we see only two cells are rendered in a row. And if I just change the value to 1, okay, okay, we see a single cell in a row which is scrolling infinitely. Okay, and this is also very responsive. Okay, so if I just see change to mobile device, so this is responsive. Okay, and I can even change it to iPad, and it just fits. Okay, so beauty of this reusable component is we can specify number of cells based on the width of the screens, guys. So for example, for the mobile we want one cell to be rendered per row. We can easily configure like this. And if we want two cells to be rendered for the iPad devices, we can easily configure that. And if you want three cells to be rendered from laptop and no desktop sizes, we can easily configure that, and we will have a fine control over each cell that is going to render. So this is a very flexible and configurable component which we are going to build. So let's start building this reusable component. So basically I will be using this React virtualized npm package. This is a widely used and more efficient among all React Infinite scroll component, guys. So there are many components, so they are not that efficient when compared to React virtualized, and this React virtualized has a highest number of downloads when compared to other one. So I'm just going to use the components provided by this package to achieve this infinite scrolling. So I have already built this grid infinite loader common component. So thing is, I'm going to create a new component so that I will extract each part of it and I'm going to explain, and we are going to use this newly built component. Okay, so let's start creating this new component. Okay, we let's call it as infinite loader component. Okay, the tsx. And so basically I'm just going to take a copy of the props so that I can tell you easily. So this reusable component, okay, gonna take these props. So I'm going to explain quickly each prop. So here list data is nothing but an array of records, okay, that we are going to render in each row. So each loading just represent whether we are still loading the data, so helpful in showing the loader while we are making an API call to fetch the rows. And next prop is fetch list. This is an function that makes API call to the server to get the data, which takes the start and limit params. Okay, so this you can ignore about this third parameter condition. This is specific to my project. So basically your API function should take a start and limit parameter, because this is very important because we are not fetching all the records at one shot from the server, which is inefficient. We are here doing a lazy loading based on the start and limit parameters. And you can just ignore about this fetch condition. Again, this is specific to my API. So all we need is start and limit. Okay, let's keep this fetch condition but not to use it. And next we have this column count. So basically represent a number of cells that we are going to render in each row. And cell data, okay, this is the content that we are going to render in each row. See, So as you see here, each cell is represented by some content. That some content is rendered by the cell data function, and total records represent total number of records that are present in DB. Okay, for this particular list. Okay, and on this is the function. Okay, that's uh, going to be called whenever we change the width of the screen. For example, now it is a laptop. If I just suddenly change it to some other resolution, on this is gonna call. If I again change it to mobile, on this is gonna call. Okay, so we completed the no understanding of the props which are required to build these reusable components. Okay, so let's build the component. Okay, I am just going to take the component here. uh, so as- let's copy the things that are required. Okay, uh, okay, so let's quickly export this uh, infinite loader component. Okay, so now we have created this basic structure, and we are going to need these parameters. I'm going to explain now importance of these. Okay, let's copy the constructor. So after taking this constructor, okay, let's take the render method of this component. Okay, so I'm going to explain each part of it. Okay, uh, so let's go through the render component code. So here basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking the row count value here. So it directly dependent on the number of columns that is going to render. So this is a pretty important value here, which has a directly dependent on this column count. So this is my row count, and so we have this resize on resize function. Okay, which I'm going to take from the props. Okay, so let's see the definition of on resize later. Okay, I'm going to show the content of resize function, and here we have this infinite loader component, which is from React virtualized package. Let's import it directly from here. Okay. Here we have this infinite loader component. Okay, so this is our infinite loader component from the package. Okay, so this infinite loader component takes these props. First one is row loaded, basically a function. Okay, this is going to return true if is row already loaded, is false. Okay, let's copy this a function so that you can understand well. You see this row loaded has a definition like this. Okay, just gonna return if we have already uh, have the data in the list data. Okay, we're just gonna check whether we have this data in the list data which we were maintaining the state. If we are already having it, it just returns true. Okay, and we have this load more rows. So this is a function that infinite loader gonna use when we want to fetch more rows. Okay, infinite loader will call this function intelligently. Okay, we are not no, gonna bother too much about how infinite loader calls this, but let's see at the high level. Okay, let's copy this load more function. Okay, uh, and let's go through the definition of this function. So basically it takes these um, params. Basically we need an start index and stop index because infinite loaders gives us start index and stop index when it wants to load more rows. Okay, so since number of loads number of more rows to be loaded also depends on the number of cells that we are going to render, because obviously, okay, if we are rendering 3 cells in a row, row count differs, and if we are rendering one cell in a row, the row count differs, and obviously this will have a impact on number of rows to be fetched. Okay, so this is my end index. So here I am going to just multiplying this column count, which is a number of cells to be rendered, by 2. So you will see the importance of this multiplication factor 2. Okay, I'm going to show you a bit later, so that you will be aware of importance of this multiplication factor. Okay, so here we have this fetch list function. Okay, here fetch list is nothing but our API function which take this start and limit. Limit is the number of records to be fetched, and start is the starting index. Okay, so we are just providing that start and limit to this function, and you can ignore this fetch condition. This is API specific. So all we can think is we are just providing a start and limit value to this function. Okay, because again these values have a high dependency over number of columns to be rendered, because okay, as you see, I'm just multiplying start index by number of column count. Okay, this is how we should calculate the start index. Okay, is empty, basically this is a function from the Lodash. Let's import it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is whenever we make an API call, we get a new list of data. So I am going to just pushing those new set of records in existing list. Okay, I'm just taking the existing list from the state, and I'm just pushing this list data into that. And again, I'm just going to set our new list data, which has this new set of rows here. So this is the thing. So we are not building the entire list each time. Okay, so in many plugins we find this. Okay, just creates a new array consisting of all the records each time we fetch okay, some rows. So this is not how we are going to build our component here. We only push uh, uh, to the existing list. Okay, we are not going to build this list data entirely from scratch, so we are going to just append it. Okay, this is the basic logic of load more rows, and we'll explain the importance of this factor too later. So this is the load more rows, and we have this row count here, which I already explained. This is nothing but a row count, and we have this threshold. Okay, this threshold value helps in prefetching the set of rows. Okay, so you will see the importance of this value. Okay, once we have everything built, I will change the value and show it to you, the importance of this threshold. And so this infinite loader basically renders a child which takes this on rows render function. Okay, which is used by section render in the grid. Okay, and so let's copy this section render so that it is helpful for you guys to understand. Okay, so this is my section render which is used by grid. Okay, just import this. So as you see, this is my on rows render. Okay, which takes this start index and stop index. Okay, So that function is basically this function which we are getting from the infinite loader. So this function just informs the infinite loader that the user is scrolling from this index to this. Okay, which infinite loader uses for its internal purpose. Okay, because it needs to know when the user is scrolling. So it identifies that thing using this function. Next we have this Windows scroller component, again from the React virtualized. Okay, as you see, I'm just importing this Windows scroller function from the React virtualized, and this Windows scroller just adds a scroller to the our page. You see at the right side. Okay, this is added by this Windows scroller component, and it gives us this height and scroll to top function. Okay, so this scroll to top again used internally by grid component. We don't need to bother too much. We are just taking that scroll top and passing it to grid, and we have this auto sizer component. Okay, which automatically adjusts the width of the grid. Okay, so whenever we change the device's width, we get the new width. Okay, and it also calls this on resize function, which internally calls our on resize function, which we are passing as a prop to this infinite loader component. And we need to make sure like we are clearing the cache. So here this dot cache points to this cell measurer cache. Okay, so whenever we change the device width, okay, uh, uh, infinite loader recomputes some of the cell measurements, and we should make sure like we are clearing some cached values here. So cell measurer cache is a thing okay, from React virtualized package, so which okay stores the value computed from the cell measurer. Okay, and shares it with the grid. Okay, so it takes the values from the cell measurer and shares it with the grid. Okay, so again these all these components, cell measurer cache and the grid, are used by infinite loader to render the cells efficiently. So this dot when we do this dot cache dot clear, it's just gonna clear that cache. Okay, and so this is the thing here. So we are clearing the cache here. So you might wonder where is the cell measurer. Okay, so this cell measurer you are going to see it in a cell renderer function, which I will just copy. Okay, let's copy this cell renderer used by grid. Okay, this is my cell renderer function used by my grid component. Okay, uh, so here we have this cell measurer. Okay, let's see, we can import now. Okay, so I think we have already imported this cell measurer from the React virtualized. So it calculates the content of the cell, okay, by virtual rendering. Okay, this rendering is not visible to the user. Okay, this calculates the value, and cell measurer cache uses that value and shares it with the grid, so that all our cells and rows are rendered efficiently. So again these are pretty internal things that are used by no React virtualized to render the infinite scroll component efficiently. Okay, and this cell renderer basically takes these values, basically a row index and the column index and the key. Okay, and we are just passing those to cell measures here. Okay, and see here our cache. Okay, this dot cache, we are passing it to cell measurer, so that cell measurer somehow make sure that they are stored in the this cell measurer cache, which we are initializing in the constructor. Okay. So and here is our children. Okay, which is nothing but a cell data function, which we are getting from the prop. Okay, here is our function where we render the content of each cell. Okay, let's define this function later. So hope you understood the importance of cell measurer, cache and cell measurer. Okay, and we need to make sure we need to clear this cache every time we resize. Okay, next we get this column sizer. Again, this is a component from React Virtualized, helpful in adjusting the width of the column. Okay, and you see we are passing the new width which is given by auto sizer. Okay, here. Okay, I just do some things and to resize automatically the column. And here we get the register child function. This is important. So this function helpful in refreshing the set of rows when we fetch more rows. Okay, this is again used by internally used by grid to refresh the rows. Okay, we don't need to bother too much. Okay, so we are just providing this width and height provided by Windows Scroller and auto size to the grid. Okay, so that it can render it. And we have this column width. Okay, because this is important. Okay, if a width is 900 pixel. Okay, if we want to render three columns, okay, we need to divide it equally. I'm just dividing it equally. If have a 600 or a 9px width, we are just dividing it by 3, so that for 900 pixel resolution we get each column of width 9px divided by 3, which is 300 pixel, 300 pixel and 300 pixel. Okay, and just passing these values and row height from the cache. And we have the cell renderer which I just explained, and we have this section renderer. So, okay, so grid calls this section renderer intelligently, which I am going to show you how it calls this section renderer by controlling some values. And if we are loading the data, we have to show the loader. So let's import this spinner. Okay, so let's take it from React Bootstrap. So we have the spinner now. So so still the error is not going below. So I think we missed importing React. Okay, just add it here. Okay, so now most of the errors are just gone. So we are just showing the spinner whenever we are loading the data. So guys, so we have all the basic logic required to render the data here. And let's see the errors. What are the errors? And let's import the types here. Okay, and this is my interface, restaurant interface. Just type definition for the list data. So here I am fetching the list of restaurant records. Okay, so I think we have built this infinite loader component. Okay, so this is the basic logic. So let's see the definition. Okay, we are going to render this infinite loader function. Okay, in some parent component, right? Okay, this is a common component which gonna render for example posts, users, restaurant menus, etc, etc, etc. Okay, let's see okay how we can define some of the props in the parent component that should be passed to this common component. Okay, as I already explained. Okay, there are some props that we should pass to this common component. Okay, so the first function is this on resize component. Okay, so on resize is basically getting called by here. by auto sizer. Okay, so we just taking this width here. So this is our on resize function. Okay, uh, so this on resize function just compares the width and just sets the column count. Okay, let's maintain the state. Okay, which is a column count, because if I have a scenario where we have to render the number of cells based on the device width, then we should maintain the state. Okay, so for example, for the mobile devices or the devices whose width is less than 768, we only need one cell. So just gonna set this column count. Okay, and this column count we are just passing it here to this our component. Okay, let's use our freshly built infinite loader component rather than using the one which we have already built. Okay, let's use this newly built component. Okay, the newly built component is our infinite loader component. uh, so um, we are using this newly built component, and let's import it, and let's pass this on research function. Okay, which I just explained it, to you. This is my on research function, and we pass this list. uh, okay, which is basically uh, list data, restaurant list data. Okay, it can be any list data. Basically here restaurant list is API response. We get this restaurant list from the API so basically here restaurant list is a list of records that I get as a result of making API call. See, I'm using a Redux here, but you don't need to bother about these things. Okay, here restaurant list is nothing but a list of records. Okay, and is loading just decides whether we are still loading the data, and the column count is a number of columns. So this column count is a state value which I just showed to you. Okay, which we might change the value based on the width if we have a requirement. And we have this cell data. Okay, cell data is nothing but the content of the cell to be rendered, guys. So this is important because you see this cell data is a function. Okay, here, so basically you can define your own content of the cell. Okay, just return some divs or whatever you need. Okay, it's not necessarily the div, basically the content that you want to render in each cell. So basically we can also pass anything to this function. Basically if you see this cell data which we are passing it here used by our cell renderer, which internally renders our function. Okay, here we have access to all these parameters. Basically we are passing this list data, row index and column index and number of columns and the style and total records, etc, etc, etc. Okay, we have list data, we know row index and column index, so that we can easily render that particular cell. Okay, uh, so this is flexibility that this component provides. So guys, so basically we are just calling the function that we are passed in the parent component, and we have very fine control over this cell data content. Okay, we have list data, we know row column index, so what else we do need? Okay, we can have anything we want in this cell data. Okay, so this is cell data, and let's see our fetch list function. So this is basically an API function. Okay, fetch restaurant list which we are passing. Okay, it just fetches the list of records. Okay, hope we have given everything. uh, we are having some error. Let's not bother about fetch condition here. Okay, this is API specific. We should pass the total records, because this is pretty important, because we need to know like how many total number of records that we are going to render in the component, because infinite loader has to know right till what uh, point it has to load the data. Okay, because it needs to know how many total number of records, okay, that are present. Okay, and this is our infinite loader component, guys. So we have everything that we need. Let's just quickly check this. Okay, so we are passing everything that is needed. Okay, okay, so now we avoided that error. So basically we are passing everything. Okay, let's not bother about the commented code. Okay, it's for my project specific. So this is the component that we have built, and this is our parent component, where we are going to use this common component which we have built. Okay, so now we have built our reusable new component, which is infinite loader component, and we are using it in a component called restaurant list. Okay, this is a parent component where we need to make sure like we are passing these props. Okay, uh, so this is the thing, guys. So I can just change the resolution here to this 425. See, as you see, on research is calling. So basically on research we are setting the column count here, which is 1. So that's why we are getting only one cell here per row. So again I can just switch back to this 1024, and let's refresh it. Okay, every time more rows are getting added, we see this loader icon which is sticky at the bottom. Okay, you see it's fetching rows. Okay, so I told like I will explain the importance of this section render and the multiplication factor and the threshold. So I'm just going to quickly explain that. Okay, so here on the section we have this load more rows, and we have this section render. Okay, you will see the importance of this thing and the threshold. So you need to know this because it is pretty important. So here we are rendering a section. Okay, basically you see I am consoling this section rendered value. Let's comment out the other things. Okay, so let's refresh it. Okay, so basically this section renderer, let's back to the left side, close it. Okay, so here it just indicates number of rows that we are rendered here. So basically you see console here 0 to 3 and 0 to 4. Okay, basically so it is just saying from row 0 index till row 4 index or row 3 index, whatever the value it is consolidated here. So we are rendering that those things 0 1 2 3. So basically we are rendering 3. Okay, so as soon as I scroll down, you see console 0 4 printed again. See again 1 to 4, it just goes on printing the sections. Okay, meaning from the row index 3 till the row index 7 is the thing what you are seeing in the screen. Okay, that's all it meant. Okay, this is the thing. So and let's see about load more rows here and importance of that multiplication factor 2 here. Okay, let's refresh it. Okay, and see so here the load more thing, it initially fetches from 0 to 6, okay, and then we are fetching from 6 index to again 6 number of records, and from the 12th index again the 6 number of records, okay. So basically, since we are giving a number of columns, in this case is 3, okay, we are fetching twice those number of columns that we have mentioned it here, okay. So if I just give 3 here, okay, every time instead of fetching 6 records, we fetch 9 records, okay, because 3 multiplied by 3 is 9 here, okay. So in this way, we can just multiply by this number of columns with this factors to fetch the length of the record that should be fetched each time, okay. As you see, every time we fetch 9 records starting with that index, okay. So this is the importance of that multiplication factor, okay. And let's give it here as a 2, and let's show it to you the importance of this threshold, okay. If I give threshold value as 5, okay, so as I said, like this threshold value is used in prefetching the rows, okay. If I just refresh it, okay, it's gonna call till 24 index, okay. Just prefetches the number of rows defined by the threshold, okay. So default value for this is 15, okay. So if you want to prefetch a more number of rows before the user sees those rows, okay, it's similar to lazy loading, so we can provide the threshold value, okay. If we give for example the value 9, okay, it's gonna prefetch all the rows, okay, till 36, okay. For example, let's give the big value 15, okay. We have total of 43 records. You see, from the 0th index till 42, it has prefetched all the rows here. That's the importance of threshold, guys. So it depends on project requirements. So if you want a lazy loading, let's keep this threshold value as low as possible, so that we only load the rows whenever we need, instead of prefetching no many rows. Hope this video is helpful.